All right, we're in. Alex, welcome to the studio. How you
Thanks
doing?
for having me, man. Look at this setup. This is a great setup. I'm digging it.
Well, I'm humbled. You've probably done a few podcasts by now in your career, so I'm glad
Yeah,
I've got something memorable.
this is great. Do the switch thing again. Switch it.
Switching it.
Switch it. Look at that. That's awesome.
It's nice. I like to be able to produce the show while I'm actually talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like the one man band. It's pretty great.
Well, like I was thinking about like, okay, how do I set up a podcast in LA? So I'm gonna get a chance to meet, some amazing creative people,
Right.
and what am I? Okay, so am I gonna have a producer? Okay, if I have a producer, I got to hire like a full-time person because if I hire a part-time person, everyone in LA is doing everything part-time all the time.
Right. Right.
So then all of a sudden I get a guest like you and my producer doesn't show up and then I don't know how to run my own shit.
It makes total sense. It makes total sense. You got to know how to do it all.
So yeah, you got it. That's the key nowadays, isn't it? You have to be able to do everything all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So look, we're gonna get to your movies and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I'd love to just learn a little bit more about you and your upbringing because we do share a little bit of similarities. We're both from Canada.
Both Canadian kids. You just told me that when I got in here, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm West Coast, but also I grew up in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But you're a TO kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winnipeg's a tough town. I mean, what was it like growing up there? Because the winters are harsh.
I mean, it's such a creative city because everyone stays inside because of the winters.
Yeah.
So I remember I'm like the guys in my band, and we would go to a rehearsal spot, and the storm would hit, and we're just there all night at like 13, 14 years old when you're supposed to be home. But we're snowed in and we're just partying now and playing and learning songs and writing songs. And we finally got out of there like 20 hours later.
Yeah.
But we were like ecstatic that we can do that. But yeah, and that's the thing. You got to stay indoors. You got to stay creative,
Yeah.
because the winters are harsh.
Hey, mom, I couldn't get home till 2 a.m. because there's 4 feet of snow.
Exactly, exactly. Or when you got to run outside, start the car, and run back in so it can warm up.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff we grew up with.
Do you remember back in the old days? So, I was born in Toronto, Canada. Then my parents moved out to like Calgary and Edmonton, and then we came back to Toronto when I was like 4. But I remember like way back in the day, used to go to like a grocery store.
Mhm.
And you used to have a plug that came out of the front of your car. And you used
Totally.
to plug it in,
So
and it would keep electricity and it would keep your engine heated up so that when you came out of the grocery store, your car would start.
that's right. That's right. Well, not only grocery stores, but it would be like at our house. Yeah. And I had a friend that came over to and visit my parents with me, and he was like, "What? Why is there a plug right outside your car?" I was like, "Oh, you don't get it." So some people are just blown away by the idea of a plug right by the car or
Mm.
by the grocery stores, and it's hilarious to explain it to them.
It is, especially they haven't seen it. And then you come down to LA and it's just perfect every day, all the time.
God, I've been having such a blast. I live in Vancouver now, and I've been having such a blast this last week being here for Percy, and yeah, I love the weather. I've done runyon every day, every morning, and I dig it. I dig it here.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I do. I do the Hollywood sign trek on Wednesdays, and then on Sundays I go out to Topanga. There's a bunch of nice little treks there where you can climb up and look down on Malibu and see the whole ocean and stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I was here for a long time, and then COVID hit, and I kind of made my move. But I just enjoy the weather, and LA can be the biggest, loneliest city in the world.
Because
But once you find your crew,
Yeah.
once you have your tribe, I mean, it's the best, and it takes a while.
it
It
does.
takes a while to find your tribe.
Well, everyone's got the defenses up, right? Because everyone's coming in and transient, and
Yeah.
people come in for a couple months and leave, or people
Yeah.
come in for a year and disappear.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. Yeah.
So, what was your first love, boxing or music?
Oh, it was always boxing. It was always boxing. Boxing was my absolutely first love, and it's interesting. I literally was just talking about this today.
Yeah.
Like I have a pretty tumultuous relationship with my father,
Mm.
and my father was like a huge boxer. And father and son, especially when you're alike, you can clash.
Was he as big as you are?
Yeah, he was a pretty big dude. Pretty
You're a
big
big
dude.
dude.
Yeah, yeah, he's a pretty big dude, especially when you're a kid and you see this guy, Eastern European heavy, light heavyweight champion, the whole thing, but we clashed quite a bit, and boxing or anything sports wise, he really wanted to get in there, and it was something that wasn't fun for me, even though I loved boxing, and then. I was watching my friends play, and I asked for a bass, and he wanted nothing to do with it. I was like, "Oh, okay. I think I want to do this because he doesn't want to." That's how I got into music.
The more he said no.
Yeah, basically, that he wasn't bothering me about anything, so all of a sudden, I'm, like, learning how to play bass without him bugging me about it, and then I just fell in love with that, and I literally, after, like, I mean, it was literally, if not days, weeks of me watching my friends play, then to the bass player dropping out of the talent show, to then, "Hey, Al, do you wanna play the bass and just hit that big fat string as fast as you can?" Like, I'm 14 years old,
Right.
because we need a bass player for the talent show. So that's how I got into it, and then, I just developed it with the guys from high school, and we toured all over Canada. We were together for years.
That's amazing. What a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever get back into the boxing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, and it was actually the reason why. See, I did this thing where, and some of the guys didn't know about it, but I did it, where, because if I broke my hand,
Is this a podcast reveal?
it could be.
If I broke my hand boxing, I would have lost my bass player job?
Basically, or the band was basically, we would get fired because you can't play bass, and now we have no money. So I was really kinda, like, trepidatious with, telling them what I was doing. So I would take off and go to whatever city we were in. I would take off and go to a boxing gym
Mhm.
and just box and hope that nothing happened in sparring or I didn't hurt my hand, and then come back and play. So for me, boxing was kind of always part of my life, and I knew everything about. I'm just a historian. I love it, and it's really helped me, with my workouts and being physical and having something that I really love. And it helped me in my career when I became an actor. I started in stunts,
Mhm.
and that kind of generated into stuff just because of me knowing how to fight, and then understanding the game of, it didn't take too long for me to get the idea of the camera angles and that I'm not going to really hit anybody.
Right.
And but just understanding the fight aspect of it.
And not hitting someone's a huge disappointment, isn't
It
it?
is. It always is. It always. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Keep it up. It's coming. That's wild, though. I mean, it's interesting that your father was such like a hardcore, boxing athlete,
Yeah.
and wasn't interested at all in your musical
No, I
career.
wasn't interested.
Did he want you to become like a mini him? Like,
Well, a little bit. I mean, it was interesting. He would take me out into the yard and we would do hand pads and everything. And I remember I fell in love with Muhammad Ali because we were watching Muhammad Ali together. And we would watch fights together. And like, I like that aspect of it when I go back and remember it. But when he was trying to teach me, that was the stuff that was like, it didn't feel great.
Mhm.
And when I got back into it, um, it was actually to get closer to him because it was a time where, we were quite separated. And I remember I went to the boxing gym um, where I was doing most of my boxing, and I went to them and said, "Okay, I'm gonna bring my dad in, but I've never been here. We're gonna pretend I was never here, and this is the first time we're walking in with him because he's just not gonna like the fact that I was doing this without him."
Mhm.
And we did that, and he was there for, 25, 30 years teaching boxing and really kind of nurturing the kid. So we got
That's
him off the
amazing.
couch, and then with that, him being there and teaching, I just put myself into that position. I grew a little bit mentally,
Mhm.
and started to get more mature of understanding this is not a competition. This is him wanting to be a dad, and I just have to breathe it out. And it became a really cool thing for us that we had this little block of time where he was my coach, and we went through some fights together. So it was good.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So how long was it after you kind of gave up boxing to then play bass? How long
Well,
was that till you?
I was doing it both at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember doing some articles and that my dad has up in the house where, there's a picture of me with a boxing glove and holding a bass and talking about how I'm doing both. And I would literally, compete on a weekend and then go play gigs on another weekend because
Mhm.
there was a lot of times the fights were during the day. And so you would fight tournaments during the day, and then in the evening I would go and play in the band.
And your hands never got messed up.
Oh, I got messed up. Believe me.
Did you have a backup bass guy on your phone, like
No, but
relic
luckily I
or
was
speed dial?
yeah, right. But luckily, I wasn't that great of a bass player, so I could just, like, skip some notes and just kinda hold my hand as opposed to the fingers.
Because it's terrifying, right? Because like your band members are kind of depending on you to be able to play bass. Like you're the meal ticket. Like you guys all have to stay healthy. You all have to be ready to perform every night. And
Yeah,
that's the whole point why people don't shouldn't drink too much, shouldn't do too many drugs,
totally.
and shouldn't box.
Right, and but this was different because I had my original metal band, we're on Spotify, by the way,
Oh,
Specula Black, but after we broke up, I just kept on playing with cover bands.
okay.
So, I wasn't too crazy about the cover bands, it was nice money in my pocket, so I wasn't concerned about, breaking my hand, but that's when the majority of the of my fighting career. But I would when I was with the other guys, I would go train. That's when I would just train, I wasn't competing because the band was number 1 to me.
Mhm.
But when that kinda I just decided to compete and brought my dad in, and that's when I was playing with cover bands.
Amazing. Amazing. So like when did acting become a focus for you?
Oh, man, like, see, I'm a fan of just saying yes to a lot of stuff and just figuring it out from there, and I was playing with my band,
Mhm.
and a casting director saw me on stage and just asked if I would audition for this movie. If
How does that happen?
a few drinks will do it. And saw me come off stage and was like, "Oh, he'd be good to for this part." But it's a trip, man. It's a movie. It was a movie called Heads
Mhm.
on HBO, like a black comedy. John Cryer,
Mhm.
Ed Asner, Jennifer Tilly, Roddy McDowall, like legends. But at the time, to me, they were nobody because I was concentrating on music, not acting.
Mhm.
So I went into the audition. I did my bit, which I didn't know what I was doing at all.
Mhm.
The director was just asking me, just say this line.
Did they find you in Winnipeg or were you
Yeah,
touring?
no, this was in Winnipeg. It was my
Really?
hometown. Yeah, hometown in Winnipeg.
Wow.
But here's the funny thing is that I went into the audition and there was dudes in there just like saying the line "built for comfort" over and over again.
Mhm.
And because I have no stake in the game, I was like, these guys are crazy. Like, what is this? And then And then I got asked to go in, and as I opened the door and the director saw me and I had to duck a little bit from the and he goes, "Oh, you better watch your head on the door frame." And I was like, "Well, and he was smaller, and I was like, I was more concerned about the doorknob hitting you on the head." And we laughed, and then I remember the casting director just went white, just like, "You don't talk to a director like that." But again, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they asked me to do a slate, and I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do one, but I have no idea what that is."
Mhm.
And then he tells me what it is, and he said, "Just say this line like this, say Braille for comfort like this." And then I ended up getting it. I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Mhm.
But the thing is, like and this was when I was playing with my metal band, my band that I was really excited about. And, when you're touring, you're in a van, you're eating noodles, you're not making any money at all.
It's a tough life.
It's a tough life. And so when I got to set, everything's brand new, and I had the AD go, "Hey, Alex, welcome. So just grab yourself some breakfast, and we'll meet you over here." And I just saw this buffet table, food, and I was like, wait a second. So I can have anything on that table?" They're like, "Yeah, yeah, just go grab whatever you want."
Yeah.
That's the pinnacle of me wanting to be an actor,
Yeah.
is that I could get fed. Everything after that was just bonus.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was all bonus. But yeah, so I did this film called Heads, and I remember going to makeup, and they were putting these they were putting these scratches on my face.
Mhm.
And I'm so perplexed. I'm like, "What why are these scratches on it?" And the makeup artist, "Well, you don't know?" I went, "No." Just, "Well, when you say the line 'built for comfort,' it's because it's insinuated that you fuck these greyhound dogs." I'm like, "What was that?" So yeah, when Roddy McDowell's petting the dogs, he asks you, "These dogs are built for speed. They're built for comfort. Isn't that right, Roderick?"
Mhm.
And I say, "Yeah, built for comfort." I touch my scars. I go, so I touched the scars and saying, "Built for comfort," because I'm fucking them.
Mm.
So
Well, first row is all about bestiality.
yeah. And so the only reason why I continued acting is because I didn't want to be known as the dog fucker and that one thing that I did. And all my guys in the band are just howling at me,
Oh my
just
god.
like, "I can't believe you're doing this." And I'm like, "I'm doing it. I committed to it,
Yeah.
but I got to do something else that means a little something more than this." And that's how it all started. That was my first gig.
That made you hunt for the second job.
Had to. I don't want to be
Walked my
that guy.
pallet.
I didn't want to be that dude, man.
I love the audition story though, because I have a lot of friends in town, a lot of people on the podcast and things like that, and they're acting and they want to be professional actors. They've done some roles and things like that. and everything is remote auditions now, and you're just
Over
doing
Zoom.
self tapes and stuff like that. And your story of kind of coming through the door and having to duck and worrying about the director and saying, "Hey, I didn't want to the door handle to hit you,"
Yeah.
like all these little nuanced moments that show character and personality are gone now.
Mhm.
Like it's funny that the casting process these days is so cold. And I have so many friends that are complaining about that because they never get to like hear feedback and change things on the spot, which is exactly what you have to do when
Mhm.
you're actually acting.
Mhm.
It's so funny how far we've gotten away from that. And some people are happy because they can live in Texas or they can live in New Mexico and still get jobs in Hollywood. But other people I know, they're just not getting a chance to like really show entirely who they are and what they can do.
You just tripped me out, man.
Did I? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Here's why. Here's why, 'cause I was a big champion of I love the Zoom auditions now. Or not Zoom, but like self-tape more than anything. I hate Zoom, but I love the self-tape auditions because you can take your time, you can use your best take, and I think the actor deserves that time, and sometimes when you go into the room, they don't they're just waiting for the next guy to come in, they're on their phone, and you've worked so hard on this thing that's lasting a minute and a half, but you just switched gears for me because I would never have gotten that gig
Mhm.
if it was just the audition, and so
Mhm.
those little nuances, so, that that mostly got me saying built for comfort didn't give me the gig. It was that, the synergy that him and I had in the room,
Mhm.
and we had a blast, and we were he directed me years later on a Canadian television show, and I had to remind him, I
Mm.
go, "You were my first director."
I
And
was in dog fucker.
yeah, that's right, and he remembered it. He go we had a good laugh,
Yeah.
but then I did, I Spy with Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson,
Mhm.
and the audition didn't it's so funny, you just kinda you switched gears for me for sure because the audition didn't get me it. It was the stories that I told about my dad,
Mhm.
that got me it, and that audition, not the audition of the lines, but the audition of Betty Thomas was the director, and she just wanted to hear a story, wanted to talk, and I told this story, really hilarious story about my dad, and it circulated around Fox that everyone was seeing this hilarious story, and that's what got me the gig.
Mhm.
That was one of my first big gigs.
Yeah.
So you're right, I would not have gotten that if it was just the tape.
It's funny, like, because acting is a skill, and some people are just born performers, and some people work at it over years and decades and perfect it and things like that. But at the end of the day, like your personality comes through all the time, right?
Mhm.
And being fun to work with, being someone who's going to show up every day and really work, put in the long hours, always show up with a smile,
Right.
make the director's life easy, make the, get to know everyone on set, be a teammate. Like these things are also important.
Yeah,
And with the with the remote castings and stuff like that, the Zoom videos and stuff, like everyone's just missing that, and it's just like
it's true.
it's only a portion of your personality that gets to come through. And you're a musician, you're probably feeling really comfortable on stage all the time. Like I do a lot of live performances and stuff like that too. Like I love being on stage. I love interacting with the live audience. I love catching people on their phones who aren't paying attention and be
Right.
like, "Hey, fucker,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, just give me a sec here.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
pull you back in, right?"
Totally.
Yeah. But we're missing all that now in film and television. I wonder if, if we're really missing out on some great performances.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right because it is that essence. And again, you may remind me of something that I never thought about because I was such a champion of, I just want to give you the best work.
Mhm.
And it's never, you realize later on, because I've been doing this for a minute that in the beginning, I got to taste all that. I got to cut my teeth on those auditions.
Mhm.
And now I'm in a position where I'm fortunate enough to get a lot of offers and my auditions that I get asked for, they are being seen. Um, and so now when I'm on the other side, I'm going, "Oh, well, I've been doing this for a while. I want them to see the work."
Mhm.
I feel like everyone already knows me, but it's not the case as much as you think it is. So
Yeah.
the idea of going back to ground one, I love that. But again, it's that other bit of um the work. You want to give them the best work. Sometimes it's a disservice
Mhm.
when, like, pilot season, you get 7 auditions in a day.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, dude, back in the day, it was crazy. Driving to, like, 7 different spots, changing as you go, and you just go you're thinking about the last audition, did you get it right? While you're about to go into the next one, you're not giving I think it's a disservice. You're not giving that specific role in that specific moment the 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 care that it deserves.
Yeah, because you're just trying to get through the day.
Just trying to get through the day and through the lines. I don't like. There's a lot of times you don't even remember it, and it's pretty heavy dialogue.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you're panicking about that. And I think the creators on the other side are going, like, was that his best thing? Or like, did he luck out? Did he not luck out? Like, could this guy be way? You're just missing so much amazing talent.
Mm.
So that to me is tough, and I like how they're doing it now, where it's not so much. You don't have to be off book, and I like being off book, but I'm a big fan of the energy. You screw up a line, you screw up a line, but what intent and energy do you put through it?
Yeah.
And those are the directors that see that more than dialogue, because you can get that on the day. This is just the essence of the character.
Yeah.
I dig that, and I like where it's going with that. But being back in the room is would be awesome, and I like the idea of. See, I always said that I love the idea of putting a great tape down, and then them going, "Oh, there's something here. There's something here, and I dig it." Then I want to go into the room when they really want to see me.
That's the dream.
That's the dream,
Mm.
right? But knowing that you can shock them a little bit, they're like, "Oh my god, like, yeah, that was a great read, but I really like this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see him a little bit more." That I didn't clock it until you just brought it up.
Yeah, it's, it's, the Johnny Drama from Entourage having a panic attack, just outside the room and having a total meltdown. Like, all these kind of, like, in-person moments, whether they're good or bad or ugly. But I was chatting with a director, a couple weeks ago, and he was just saying, like, when you hire actors, it's like going to war. Like, okay, we're gonna go to war for 30 days,
That's right.
and everyone has to wake up at dawn and go to bed at dusk and have a smile on, and just, no matter how hard the day gets, we need to work and perform and at our best, and not be shitty with people, and
Mhm.
really be good teammates throughout the whole process. And that's not something you can necessarily tell off a video. Like, that's what you get when you podcast with someone for a
Right.
couple hours. Like, you build a rapport, and you have some you build a friendship with people,
Right.
and you have, like, a real connection.
Yeah.
But if we were doing this by Zoom right now, this would be nothing.
You're absolutely right. We're just trying to get through it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why. Yeah, and then you'd have your phone off on the side. Like, that's why I decided not to do Zoom podcasts, because
that.
you miss everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's bang on, because I've been in some positions where, you get somebody that face value, but you really want to know more of them, and this person now gets hired on the job, and you realize, oh my God, this is a train wreck. This is terrible.
Yeah.
And the idea of collaboration, and there's a reason why they're called directors. Direct me. I'll give you an idea. Help me get through the scene, and let's come to something together. There's this great footage of James Gunn and the new Superman dude.
Okay.
It's a wicked. I saw the clip on Instagram where the new Superman dude didn't understand a piece of dialogue of the intention,
Mhm.
and James Gunn and him were just going back and forth, not in a argument, but in a collaboration of passion.
That's beautiful.
And watching the new guy that plays Superman go, once James Gunn really kind of explained it, he went, "Got it." Killed the scene.
Yeah.
But watching that two artists struggle for what is the essence of the scene,
Yeah.
and the director really explaining it beautifully
Yeah.
with passion and not anger, and not tossing it to the side.
Yeah.
That was the coolest, minute and a half that I've watched in a long time about collaboration.
It is, right? And you just can't do that remotely.
You can't do that
No.
at all. So yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
You get cast off the stage for your first film, which wasn't is memorable for not being memorable because you're a bestiality.
Yeah.
How do you say that? You perform bestiality, or you
Hey.
initiated?
Whoa. Hey. This is gonna get cut up and as a meme. Don't.
Don't do this. Okay, so what was the next redeeming role?
Um, well, no, I think from that, and it wasn't like I was like, okay, now I'm acting. It was just like, oh, that was cool. Now it's like in the back of my head, and that's when I was playing with my band. And then as time went on, I realized I did like a cable show, and it was called Manitoba Minute. And so we did this, and because I decided to go to the National Institute of Broadcast, because it was always in me of like, okay, I really like that. And then I became part of the stunt community
Mhm.
from that movie, from the first one, because I saw how big I was, and Winnipeg has a small community at the time. Rick Skeen was my mentor, who like launched me. His sons are killing it in the world right now as stunt coordinators, but it started in Winnipeg. and he brought me on as a stunt guy. And
Mhm.
so, dude, I had this thing where I would be playing in my cover band till like 2 a.m. and you're like a rock star, right? They're packed bar, even though it's covers, everyone's having a good time.
Mhm.
You're feeling the shit, you know? But then I would go right at 2 a.m. I would drive to set and I was a gopher. I was getting them coffee. I was moving mats.
No sleep.
I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go to sleep right away after the gig. I'm just jazzed.
Yeah.
So I'm going till about 6 and then I would go to sleep. And for me, I was just so jazzed to learn about it, but it was definitely an ego shot.
Mhm.
It didn't feel good to be told, "Hey, don't talk to that guy. That guy's one of the actors. Don't look at him. Don't talk to him. Don't make conversation." And then, grab me a coffee. Oh, make sure you move those mats. And I was just, yes, sir, man. I just wanted to learn and be a part of it. And then I started doing a little bit of stunts,
Mhm.
and then I got into stunt acting. And then I realized in the stunt acting bit of it, I have so much respect for actor or stunters in general. These stunties are amazing. But I wanted to tell stories. I knew I wanted to tell stories. And it's tough to be a stunt person and an actor.
Mhm.
Casting doesn't really look at it as the same.
Was your size an issue? Because you're 6'5" or something like that, right? Like, you come in there just ripped, and they're like, "Oh, this is a stunt guy." I said, "No, I can fucking act."
Yeah, no, it was that, but the thing is, I knew I could do it, but I didn't have the skills yet,
Mm.
and so there were a few things that I did, and I always excel when, I'm one of those guys that if I'm with somebody, like there's this amazing actor who I'm still friends with, two of the guys, and one of my first things that I did, my buddy Victor Webster and Michael Trucco, we're still really good friends now. But back then we did a terrible movie called Wishmaster 4. And I was brought in as the stunt guy for my buddy Victor.
I never saw Wishmaster 1, 2, or 3.
And there you go. And there you go. And there you have it. And, and so, and I remember, and everyone just kind of got along and we wanted to hang out together. And I was playing it, like I was doing the stunt stuff and playing. So they come and watch me play. So when I had this scene of a bouncer that gets into a fight with my buddy Michael, he made me feel like a peer as opposed to a new guy coming in.
Mm.
And for me, and that comes through with boxing. When I boxed, anybody that was better than me, it elevated my game. And so the same thing happened with this movie and Michael's that he was next level. I just matched it. I just saw where it was and I matched it. And I was like, okay, I really want to do this. I don't have the skills yet if I'm in a different position. So I just started learning, but I also wanted to learn things that that weren't in front of the camera. Because I didn't know if I was going to make it. I just knew I loved this industry. So I wanted to learn everything behind the scenes. So I went to the National Institute of Broadcast, did a thing called Manitoba Minute, and so I learned how to cut and edit. And again, I'm still in the band. So what we would do, we would sell to ABC affiliates,
Mhm.
and we would buy like an infomercial spot. And there were like commercials. The TV show was like a commercial travel show. So 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and a minute. And we would do hotels, bars, and, hotels, bars, and restaurants. And it was for the American affiliate closest to that province.
Oh, so they would come up and see and then
Because
come to spend their money.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the age, right? It was 18 to get in, and it was 19 at 19 in the States to go to the bar.
It's
Or
21.
21,
21, yeah,
right,
yeah.
21, it was 18
Yeah.
Canada. And so all these people would come, from Seattle to Vancouver, from Grand Forks to Winnipeg. And so we would do that and make it like a travel show that was kind of funny.
Mm.
So what I would do is we would shoot, it was a 30-minute show. We would shoot maybe 12 hours of footage, and then it was all on VHS. So after the gig, I would have the VHS and go through them and do the time codes
Yeah.
and then when we got into the studio, the edit, we weren't using as much money and time to go through it all. So I would just have like stacks of VHS and VHS is formed. Okay.
We gotta let everyone know. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Back in the old days.
Exactly. But that's kind of how I was cutting my teeth. I'm really understanding editing and understanding cutting and where the camera should go. So I got really lucky that while I was doing the National Institute of Broadcast, that I had that opportunity.
Well, that's wonderful that you kinda didn't just go to acting school. Like, you wanted to learn, more about stunts. You You wanted to learn more about post-production and what it meant to, like, actually make something, because that's fucking hard to do. Like,
It
it's
is.
super hard to just make stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you've got your athletic pursuits, and then you've also got, you're so comfortable on stage performing music. It's a really, like, eclectic group of experiences you had for, a young person in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I wasn't really that young. Like I when I actually when I moved to go, okay, I'm gonna be an actor. I was 35.
Yeah, but it's never too late.
It's no, and that's what I said. I,
Yeah.
I remember people going, you're gonna try to do that. Like when I left Winnipeg, I left with absolutely nothing
Mhm.
except a 6-volume VHS of Muhammad Ali documentary. That
Rightly so.
Yeah, that's what I left Winnipeg with.
Mhm.
I got to my buddies. Um, he let me stay there. My rent was to clean his apartment with the 2 dudes that were there, and they were filthy, like horribly filthy, but my rent was to clean up.
Worse so knowing they've got a gopher to clean up.
Exactly, exactly. And then in my room, I remember going, "Okay, I'm not gonna spend any money," and it's a foam mattress on the floor, a milk crate with a TV and a VHS that I just bought in Vancouver that I had to put on a payment plan.
Mhm.
It was $300. It was like 20 bucks a month. I was like, "I'll do 20 bucks a month."
Right.
And that's how I started the first year
In
in
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Yeah, when I just decided, and I went to a wonderful, acting school called Lyric right away and really cut my teeth, and then, that's when I was just really, but I already built a resume in Winnipeg of stunt actor stuff, so I got an agent pretty quickly.
Mhm.
And then but I thought I was in the right spot of being an actor and felt like a thespian.
Mhm.
Um, and it was years later when I realized I'm not who I'm lying to myself.
Mm. That's
Definitely,
interesting.
definitely lying to myself because the auditions that I was going for, because I'm a big dude, were like big guy auditions.
Mhm.
I haven't really proven anything else like a monologue of this and, Shanley or anything. And I was just the tough guy, and I didn't wanna just do that, and I had a fear of.
How hard is it to be 6'5" and not be typecast?
Yeah, but the thing is, and at the time, I was like, "God damn it, man, like, what do I gotta do?" But when I started to become friends with being typecast, because everyone's typecast,
Mhm.
like, Tom Cruise couldn't play a bouncer or a big guy like me.
Mhm.
So everyone's got their thing.
He tried to play Reacher.
Yeah, that didn't work. But you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got a typecast of them in some way, and once you make friends with that and then realize, and again, I learned this later, realize that you don't have to be a tough guy, you can have so many nuances in there.
Mhm.
The size can take it over, you don't have to be tough, it's just looks like it. What can you give me in your essence that shows, "Oh, there's something different going on here?"
Mhm.
And I did a play, or no, I did, an acting class with um, Larry Moss. You know
Okay.
Larry
I
Moss?
don't know.
Oh my god. Larry Moss, coached Hilary Swank in Million Dollar Baby, DiCaprio. He coached all the big ones and phenomenal, phenomenal actor, and acting coach. But was what resonated me with me was how we spoke about acting emotionally. Like, script analysis for sure, but he spoke to me in an emotional level, which is how I love to work in anything.
Mm.
And I remember studying with somebody else who was just a fantastic actor, but he was more cerebral. So he had a way of going about it, and almost like little moments, but it was very cerebral, and I couldn't get it. I could not get it. And that's one of the moments where I was like, I don't think I can do this
Mm.
because I don't get this. And then I saw Larry, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is the language that speaks to me." And it was a Meisner thing too, and I love Meisner. Um, but the way Larry taught really spoke to me, and I was nervous. We were auditing. There was about 300 people auditing and taking class. It was huge because he came up to Vancouver to do it, so everyone went.
Mhm.
And I did a scene, and I think my brain was, if I give this 100% in the scene with this amazing acting coach, and all my peers and bigger than peers, like guys I was looking up to, if I give it 100%, I'm going to see the truth. And I didn't want to do that.
Oh, really?
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to see the truth right there.
You wanted to hold back a little.
I'm I wanted to play. Didn't want to learn. I didn't want to do it 100%. And if I shit the bed, well, it's because I just didn't give it 100%.
So it's your fear of being vulnerable.
Yeah, to a certain, my fear of being caught in a lie, and then me being able to see the truth. It was just a weird moment, and I had this great. I had this roommate Penny, and she was the assistant to Larry, and so that's how I got in there. And usually the real good ones get in there, and I snuck in there, and I felt like even at that moment, I was like, I'm doing it, and I'm putting myself up there, but I'm also not really doing it. So then
A little imposter syndrome.
definitely 100%, bro, 100%. And then, so I get up there and I'm like doing the work, but I'm also like playing around. And he stops us in the middle of the scene. And he says, Penny tells me he used to play in a band. And I'm like, yeah, I did play in the band. You know, now I've got an audience being me. And now I'm fine with that. But the acting thing's just so new to me. And so I'm like joking around. Yeah. And he goes, no offense to anybody that plays this instrument. He tells people. He goes, but I'm assuming you played the bass guitar.
Oh, wow.
And I started laughing. I went, yeah, I did. I started air banding.
Yeah.
And as I was air banding and people laughing, he went, quiet. He like bellowed, quiet. And he turned to me, bro, and he said, how dare you give me a poorly played bass when you have an orchestra inside you? And that shut me down.
That's power.
Man, I got super emotional in front of all these people, which I did not expect. And he was saying, all these people are out here seeing an orchestra shit the bed, and they just want their money's worth. They want to feel something. I get emotional thinking about it because it was a turning point in my life.
He got straight to the fucking point.
Got right to the point. Like, and he kept on saying, like, you have all of this. I see it all, but you're not doing anything with it, and you're pissing it away. And that changed everything for me. And I just switched gears. Like, you know, the acting that I was doing before, I got more vulnerable, and I just said, fuck it, I'm doing this, and we'll see where it goes. And then he came back next time, and he gave me a scene, Danny and the Deep Blue Sea. Do you know it?
No, I don't. Not familiar.
Danny and the Deep Blue Sea. It's a Shanley play. It's a two-hander, 90 minutes. It's extremely violent, extremely beautiful, vulnerable, sad, and hopeful. Had all of that in these two beautiful broken characters. And it just spoke to me, man. It just really spoke to me, and I worked on it, and I went and did it for him. And it was one of the most satisfying moments, and again, another turning point for me, and where he was just like, you need to do this play. This is what you were meant to do. You were meant to do this job and do this play. You need to do this play. Kept on pounding it. I got so many people, like people that I admire, coming up to me going, that was powerful. And so a friend of mine and I decided to do the play. Now, it took over 5 years.
Oh my God. So off this audition from this class, from a workshop, you decided to put together an entire play just so you could play that role.
But it took 5 years.
That's epic.
But right after it, I had friends coming, hey, we should do it. But I would do things like, well, I'm going to visit my mom. I don't think I'm going to do pilot season. I'm going to the whole thing. And I was just passing it off. And then my friend who was the director, and I kept on pushing him off. He called me, and it was in the evening, and it was like, he goes, your Facebook open? I went, yeah, my Facebook's open. He goes, write this down right now. I'm doing Danny and Deep Blue Sea, January 17th at this theater. And we're doing it. I'm doing it with Jason and Laurie Trio. Boom.
Put it out in the world.
And I was so scared to do it. And we wrote it together. And once I hit that, I was like, now I'm going to know if this is either I'm going to shit the bed or I'm going to take it to another level. So then, oh man, I haven't told this story in a long time.
This is the good stuff.
Yeah. So then we're working on the play. I'm really kind of getting my feet under it. And I've never done a play, and it's a 90-minute play. And now all my peers are going to be coming to watch it.
And that's the real deal.
It's the real deal, man. There's no faking it. And it's not like an audition scene where it takes 30 seconds. We're doing 90 minutes. I've never done it before. beast of a play. And so we're doing it, we're getting through it. And I wasn't working, I wasn't getting any gigs at all. And I think it had a lot to do with, he's just not ready yet. I would get a few things here and there, but I wasn't working. And then I get an offer for a show called Alcatraz. Um, and I would be doing something like, 17 out of 22 episodes
Oh, wow.
and paying me like prime time rate.
Mhm.
And because it's in Alcatraz, I'm not saying a lot. I'm just in the jail. So they'll be seeing me a ton, a few lines here and there, but it's only for continuity
Mm.
because I'm in the jail. So then I remember my agent going like, "You got this." But now I'm like 5 weeks into this play. We're going up in like 2.5 weeks. What do I do?
That's like that's the tough decision everyone's got to make,
What
right?
do I do? And again, I'm sleeping on the floor and stuff.
Mhm.
And I decided I went, I can always find a way to make money. I'm not going to have this opportunity. I can't go back from this opportunity. I put so much work into it. So I decided to do the play.
Oh, wow.
I decided to do the play.
That's balls.
Well, it felt like the easiest decision to make
Mm.
because I already knew how to not have money. But I didn't know that, and the work that we all put into it, I couldn't just bail on them. And I feel like it would have been, I just would have taken 10 steps back. So we ended up doing the play. It happened to be the best thing I ever did, most scariest thing I ever did. I remember rehearsing, and when you're panicked about lines and stuff, it doesn't stick. When you relax, it sticks. Yeah, I remember calling my mom, crying,
I'm freaking out.
freaking out. I'm gonna shit. I'll never forget it. My mom talking me off the ledge,
Yeah.
and people are walking on a seawall in Vancouver, and I'm like, like they were like, "Oh my God, something terrible was happening." Fucking acting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my mom talking me off the ledge, but that how scared I was of
Mm.
this role, but also going, I'm wasting. I'll know if I shit the bed or not. Ended up being we had sold out all the nights. We extended. I got nominated for an award for it. It shifted everything in my career. I have not stopped working since I did that play.
That's power.
And what I believe is the reason, not that people saw me do the play or anybody talking about it, because not everybody saw it. The way I was walking into that room had no ceiling anymore.
Mm.
I knew, like I just did 90 minutes. This is nothing. I know how to put the work in. I didn't put the work on anything the way I put the work in on that. Now I knew it. I've done it. The ceiling is off. I played in the Super Bowl type thing.
You shook off the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it became this thing that was so powerful, and it was exactly what Larry said. I gave him the orchestra,
Mm.
and it was because of him and because of my friend Jason that we ended up doing that, and I have not stopped working, and I just give them all the credit.
What did the Alcatraz folks say after you told them that you were,
I forgot about me, man. Like,
they moved on?
in a heartbeat, yeah.
So I mean, how do you
I
go?
haven't talked about that in a long time.
It's beautiful. I mean, these are the gems that have to come out. I mean, because think about how many young actors there are in Canada right now, maybe listening to this at some stage, and they're like, "Oh my God, like, I want to be in Hollywood making movies, but like, how do I get started?" And it's like,
Right.
well, you can play in a band and you can do a play,
Yeah.
and then you can work your way through it. And you're like, and how many actors out there have crazy anxiety and imposter syndrome going into auditions?
Yeah.
Now they know you had the exact same thing.
Yeah. And with all of that, I just remember the one thing that I always go back to is just fuck it. You're not gonna die.
Mhm.
What is all this anxiety really? Once you give it the fuck it kind of vibe, you put all the work in, it's like, all right, all the work's in, fuck it. And that's what it was like for boxing with me. You gotta train like 12 weeks 12 weeks, 12,000 rounds for a 12-round fight. And once you put all the work in, you just go fuck it. See what happens now.
I'm ready.
Yeah, and the only way you can do that, and that's what helped me with the play, one, boxing in front of people, but also being in a band in front of people. I knew being in front of people wasn't the issue.
Mhm.
Is could I tell this story? And the fuck it moment is literally, I'm about to fight this guy, and we're both going to get punched in the head. What am I going to get out of it? And am I going to do everything I want to do? And and if I don't, what was the thing I can learn from? The best way for, I mean, it's one of the things that boxing doesn't lie. Either you train or you don't train, and you're going to find out pretty soon.
Heard that first punch.
Yeah.
As Mike Tyson says, the whole plan goes out the moment you get hit the first time.
That's exactly it. So do you freeze
Yeah.
and then you lose all your cardio when you're like, oh my God, oh my God. Or I've seen this before. And then everything just moves really nicely. So that's what I felt like with, I remember making that switch. And I remember before the first night, I can hear everybody in the sound stage, and I'm in the back and I'm doing my warm-ups and I'm freaking out because they're right over there. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what it's like walking out for a fight. Super nervous backstage. Once I hit the stage, everything's fine.
We can hear the crowd.
Yeah. And so once I said, fuck it, and started doing the walk and shadow boxing, I was shadow boxing before going on stage. All the boxing stuff came back, and being relaxed in either scenario is key. And then just fuck it. Don't predict anything. Fuck it.
I love that you can pull on your athletic training and athletic performance to help you prepare the mind for acting or prepare the mind for going into another discipline equally scary,
Yeah.
potentially less physically abusive,
Right.
but equally demanding.
Yeah, I mean, I feel lucky that I have that, and I think that's why a lot of great athletes become great actors, because they understand the switching gears, and I'm not just talking boxing, like in football, and because like even team sports are great for actors because it's a team,
Yeah.
you know?
I grew up playing basketball and rugby, and I totally get it when I talk to directors about them being like the coach
Yeah.
and having everyone have to be, perform their roles throughout the day to get done on time and everything like that is beautiful.
Yeah, and you gotta navigate personalities.
All the time. Holy shit.
Yeah, and you have to amalgamate to that. You have to mold into, you don't have, I like the coaches slash directors that sit there and go, I'm not gonna make you understand everything about me, and I'm not gonna bend. I love the ones that go, because I just think you get so much more when you champion people than to beat them down. I love the idea of, you champion them, but you make them understand that this is why the scene isn't working. Help me help you, that we can make this thing a thing that we can have together, as opposed to, that's wrong. Just do it faster. I hate the directors that say that.
Yeah.
Just do it faster. Why am I doing faster?
Yeah.
And then, so am I shitting the bed doing it slower? So if I do it faster, I'm not shitting the bed. I'm pretty sure I'm going to shit the bed, especially when I don't know why I'm doing it faster.
Yeah.
But when you have that small little discussion, an extra minute of just like, no, you're doing it great. I think picking up the pace would be the thing, because I think, just explain it. Let's communicate. Those are my favorite actors.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you, I love the fact that this play you turned down, a broadcast or a network TV show to do this little play in Vancouver. I love that that was the turning point, like kind of in your entire career.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that?
It definitely was. I mean, the turning point for me was him saying, that I'm an orchestra and not a that was turning, but then I had to put the work in. Once I put the work in, and that's when the imposter syndrome shook off, doing that play. And then I've just been fortunate enough to work. Like, I've just been fortunate enough to work, man. I'm just so happy.
And what was the arc like after that play? So you do this play, you get some great reviews, you won an award, you mentioned.
I'm nominated. Yeah.
You got nominated for an award. So like, when does Hollywood
Way
wake
to,
up?
way to rub it in. Thanks.
Nominated one. Sorry. So what's the arc like after something like that?
Like, professionally?
Yeah, like like you're in Vancouver, you've done this play, you get recognized for it. Like how does one job lead to the next job lead to the
It just did. Like, it wasn't a plan. Like, I would going for an audition, and I'm not saying I booked everything, but I just kept on working. So I would have an indie here. I did a show called Arctic Air, where we did like 3 seasons. That was the first time I got to be on a show like that. And then other features here and there. So it just, like, a bunch of work just started happening. And I was just super fortunate that it kept on happening. And coming from the place of me, doing this travel show and developing stuff and producing stuff, I wanted to jump in on producing an indie, and it's like, okay, I'll do the indie, but I'll help you produce it. So I got to really kind of sink my teeth into other things, not just the acting, and I love that. I love being a part of that.
Mhm.
I don't like waiting for auditions. I like kind of being busy. And if I can do that in film in any way, I will. So I'm a huge fan of doing indies, of working as a collaborative team and understanding, what we're trying to get done. I worked with, I think right after a few months after Danny Deep Blue Sea, a friend of mine passed away, one of my best friends, and he was such a horror freak. He loved horror. And all of a sudden I got a lead in a horror movie,
Mhm.
and I had an opportunity to do another film out of town, but I was like, "Oh, no, this is my boy telling like, basically going, I think it's time you do this."
The
Like,
universe was sending you a
just
message.
felt like he was a part of it,
Yeah.
and it was so up his alley, and I just said, "Okay, I'm doing this one." And I had a great relationship with, the producer, Liz Levine, and then we, became friends. We've been friends for over 10 years. So it's relationships to me
Mhm.
is the biggest thing. Again, like I'm a pretty loyal friend, and like my buddy Michael and Victor from that very first thing in Winnipeg, like we just saw each other last week. Like I love I love nurturing relationships in this industry with the good ones.
What made you wanna go to Vancouver instead of Toronto? And only a Canadian would ask you that.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, because my friends were in Vancouver and I was on my way to LA. So I was just gonna pop in, and I mean, things work out for a reason, but I was just gonna pop into Vancouver for a few months and then head to LA because I had friends there that were gonna let me crash and be their gopher.
Mhm.
And 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, I guess I'm in Vancouver. I can't go over there now.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of made it happen.
And you still live in Vancouver today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I lived here for a minute, and then COVID happened, and then went back, and I'm really having a good time with it.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. It's funny, I left Canada when I was 22 and I went to China for 18 years.
Whoa.
And then I lived in Dubai and then Switzerland for a bit. And now I've been in LA for about 2 years. And I kind of started this podcast because I just wanted to chat and meet inspiring people.
Well, that's awesome, but what were you doing?
So I played basketball at the University of Toronto, and actually I was in Manitoba all the time because we used to play,
License?
and we used to go to Brandon and play in the tournament in Brandon every
Oh,
Christmas.
okay.
You know,
Cool, cool, cool.
Brandon, Manitoba is a tough place
Oh, yeah, for sure. Nothing going on there except being tough.
and playing
Yeah,
basketball.
exactly.
No, but I was just interested in seeing the world. So I worked for like the New York Times for a bit and did some media stuff. I was a photographer. I wrote for travel magazines, and then I started making adventure travel television shows. So I went for like from about 2010 to 2020. I was kind of riding motorcycles all around the world, climbing mountains, making TV shows for like BBC Earth, Discovery Channel, all that kind of stuff. And
Holy
then
shit.
yeah, and then COVID hit, and then I kind of got into some other things, and then I came here to kind of start my career again because everyone went for 2 or 3 years without really working.
Totally.
Yeah,
Dude, that's super exciting.
yeah, it was a lot of
I'm
fun.
gonna interview you next time.
Next time
Yeah.
we'll do it for next time. But no, it's a wild ride. I'm always kind of curious to see where Canadians go and how they kind of find their way in this world. But
Yeah.
it's beautiful to know that you went from Winnipeg to Vancouver. And it was part of a bigger plan, but you kind of got stuck there, but in a way found yourself. It's beautiful.
Absolutely, and I love being on the coast, and I'm happy to be on the coast, and I've spent quite a few. I've spent a good chunk of time in LA and developed some great friends, but there's just something about Canada, man. I love being in Canada.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah,
I go back every now and then, but my family travels a lot now, so I get to see them. I don't have to go back all the time to
right,
see them,
right.
which is quite nice. And then of course when you're in LA, everyone wants to come and see you in LA, so
Absolutely.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Yeah.
So how did the Percy Jackson movie come to be? Because I mean, like I was looking. I mean, you've got your IMDb stacked. You've been working constantly
Yeah.
for like forever,
Yeah.
which is amazing. But like, how did this Percy Jackson thing come to be?
See, that's what you said movie, right? But
Film.
series.
Oh, it's a whole. Oh, it's a television series.
Percy Jackson's television series.
So I was going back to the original movie with yeah,
And
okay,
why did you go back to the original movie?
because I thought they were making a sequel.
Okay, so check this out.
Walk me through it.
Check this out. So I was in the first Percy Jackson movie
Were you?
as a Cyclops.
I don't remember that.
Well, you couldn't tell, and it was literally like a stunt gig. We were just running through the forest a few times as these Cyclops chasing Percy Jackson.
Amazing.
So fast forward, I worked with Dan Shea, or sorry, Dan Schatz on a TV show called C with Jason Momoa.
Mhm.
And Dan and I hit it off, and he's one of those producers that not only champions the artist, but champions crew.
Mm.
And that, I mean, that's what makes everything go round.
Mhm.
And you knowing that the crew is giving it 100% and recognizing it, they'll go 150. Like it's
Good coach.
he's exactly.
Mm.
He gets it and it's authentic.
Mhm.
You don't feel like he's just blowing smoke. He means it. So Dan and his partner David, they loved the work that I did on C. And again, unbeknownst to me, I just know that we had a great relationship the few times I saw him on the show. And then the premiere, we saw him and hugged it out type thing. Fast forward 4 years, Polyphemus comes up and he calls me and he calls my agent and does the offer. And I was like, oh wow, Dan, like from C, that's amazing. So he sends the offer and I didn't have to audition, which is great. And then I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know if they know that I was in the first one as a Cyclops. I don't wanna say shit because I don't know if they're gonna go, I don't yeah, I don't wanna put the 2 worlds together like that. I didn't know. I just know. Shut the fuck up."
Even if you're a background player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but you see me in the thing,
Mm.
but it's still in the show. So I was like, "I don't know how it's gonna go, so I'm not gonna say anything." So we ended up working out the contract, and I'm just ecstatic that I'm a part of it. And then I sat with them first day on set. I was just like, "I don't know if you know, but I was a part of the first Percy Jackson." He was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." So, but it wasn't a bad thing. It ended up being like, "That's crazy." It's like, if anything, it's an Easter egg for people.
Mhm.
But, being offered that role and then so I did a few movies where there's a acting coach in Vancouver. His name's, Andrew McElroy. And he's coached me on some great stuff. And we have a great relationship, but he was the acting coach on Percy for the kids.
Oh, really?
And it made sense because he's so good with people in general, but for sure with kids and guiding. And I was just so ecstatic because I've had a history with him. So it's not just any acting coach, and I don't know how I'm going to work with him. We work together so well. And he gave me a binder like this thick of who Polyphemus was in the Greek mythology and in the show, because it's a little different than Rick's books, which the audience is gonna really enjoy when they see the show.
Mhm.
So I had I was so lucky to have such a great partner to work this character and finding his walk and finding his cadence, finding, the different voices that people will see that I end up using in the thing
Is
in
it
the
better
show.
to have a coach or an acting, like, partner to work on that stuff with you, or do you prefer just kinda going off on your own and figuring it out?
I love, especially for him knowing the world. I don't know. I remember seeing the first season, really enjoying it before I even knew about me having a chance to be in season two.
Mhm.
The show was just that good. But I love the fact that he was so into the world. He understood the world, and he gave me more than enough material for me to do my homework in the bracket of what the show is all about. So I love when that happens. And then because of all the prosthetics and the suit that I had to wear, then it was like I needed someone to bounce off. How does he walk? How does Polyphemus enter a room? How does Polyphemus, how fast is his gait? How slow is his gait? What, then we had to figure out his voice. Where does his voice come from? How does his voice act? Um, so being able to bounce that off of somebody, because in those situations, I feel like I just need somebody to go, wait a second. Okay. It may feel like it works for you, but it does visually, it doesn't work.
Mhm.
So then we can jam on it. So I prefer in those moments, especially a character like that, I prefer to work with somebody that I really trust.
And at what stage does the director come in or the showrunner come in and be like, "Okay, yeah, I like that."
That didn't really happen.
No, they gave you a lot of freedom.
It gave me a lot of freedom, and I had freedom with once we were doing the makeup tests, and just um the facial mechanics of how much it's going to resonate through the big kind of cowlick that I had, and the makeup I had, the prosthetics, what reads, what doesn't read. So I had to do a little bit more with some things, and I had to do a little bit and trust that less was okay, that you could see it through the prosthetics.
Yeah, because if you smile, it doesn't maybe show like you're smiling, and you've
Exactly
got
it.
to figure out how to move the plastic on your face to
That's
actually look
exactly
like
it.
you.
So you have to accentuate it,
Yeah.
and then when you accentuate it, are you doing it too big? Like, it was a trip, man. Like, I
It's
loved
tough.
it. I loved it. I loved the whole process.
Yeah.
And the idea of, um, you know, when we were shooting, you see my eyes, but when you see it on television, it's the Cyclops eye. But their technology, it's never been done before. The technology that they have for this show is they're tracking the way my eyes are looking at you right now, and if I look to the left or right, that's what the Cyclops eye is gonna do. So it basically uses both your eyes as one eye.
And they just kind of like superimpose it.
Yeah, they basically CGI it on you, no pun intended with the guy. But it's your actual eye. So, when we were watching, the premiere episode, Daniel, who plays Tyson in the show, who was the Cyclops and one of the new characters who does a phenomenal job in it. Um, there was a moment where just looking at his eye and his facial reactions, you got emotional right away. So it's a real thing. When I did the first Percy Jackson, it was literally an eye just kind of pushed on my head.
Like a sticker.
Basically,
Yeah.
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 And then they had little slits on my eyes for the first movie, and then they would CGI that out. And they just, with the technology now, they just took my eyes out and basically put it up into that one, and it's stunning. So for Polyphemus to be that and making sure that my intention of what the scene I want to have portray, and a lot of it is in the eye, so you don't know if it's gonna be lost when you actually see it.
Mm.
What I saw last night, I cannot wait to see my character on screen.
That's amazing. Because actually, like when you read the emotions of someone else, it's all in the eyes.
All in the
So if
eyes.
you're acting in all this makeup and stuff like that, and your eyes aren't also telling the story, you're missing a huge part of that communication.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I don't think they could have done it without this technology, and, Disney just believed in this project and believed in the Percy Jackson story, and it shows on screen. Man, it would look so amazing last night.
And the whole thing filmed in Vancouver, right?
Whole thing filmed in Vancouver.
So you didn't have too far to go.
Didn't have far to go, which I love. I shot in Japan, which I love, but I mean, that time difference and back and forth, and I shot some stuff in Antarctica, which is, again, really great, but there's nothing like going back to your own bed, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What was Antarctica like?
My God.
Yeah.
It was next level.
I've been to some crazy places, but I haven't been to the poles yet.
Yeah, Antarctica was a trip, and it was, the movie's looking for more financing, but it's probably one of the best scripts I've ever read.
Hmm.
And the people a part of it are fantastic, but going there, like, we were sleeping in a tent, and me and one of the other leads, and, you're all bundled up, you gotta make sure you don't do certain things, and, um, we got caught in a storm. It was probably one of the most surreal moments of my career, for sure, for sure. And you have to be super careful because crevasses happen out of the blue.
Real crevasses. Yeah.
And so you had to bring somebody with you, and you had to have a walkie if you were gonna walk in the flagged off area. You couldn't go past the flagged off area until we had a guide, and then we would go to where we'd be shooting, and we should be shooting on these, like, snow cliffs. Oh my god, it was just, yeah, it was epic.
Nature's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beast and it's a beauty at the same time.
I'm just curious, like the play that you did in Vancouver was so transformative for you as an actor and probably also as a human being, being able to shake off the imposter syndrome and really like find the soul of what you wanted to be. Like, have you ever thought about going back onto the stage?
Oh, yeah, I did it once before, Tracy Letts play called Bug,
Hmm.
and I loved it, and I got the bug, so I'm ready to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I mean, do you have a preference, like being on stage in front of a live audience, or being in on a set with 100 people watching you?
You know, it's interesting because I come from playing in a band and being live and seeing the immediate response. I kinda love the immediate response.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and now that I've done this for a minute, I have and what I've gone through, I just have that I have the itch to feel that live like a musical audience. I feel I have the itch to it's great. I love being on camera, absolutely, because there's something about, like, for instance, doing Polyphemus, 5 hours in the chair, and then to put all the makeup on and
Per day?
oh, yeah.
5 hours just sitting there getting makeup and prosthetics just so you can go on camera.
Yeah, 5 hours in the chair.
Damn.
So just breathe right through it.
What are you doing? What do you do there?
Breathe right through it, listen to music, and breathe right through it.
Oh god. That's
It's
insane.
if you can if you let your head get to you, it's horrible, but it's such a great meditative state, and you just breathe right through it because I also put my head in the thing of going, "I can't wait to see it, so I'm gonna go through this. I'll get through this, and then I get a night like last night that I get to see this thing happening, and I would rather see this thing happening on the screen, enjoying my process instead of hating it."
Are you getting to see dailies? Are you getting to see, like, mock-ups of what it's gonna look like in final? Like, are you getting any motivation along the way as you're doing these 5-hour makeup sessions?
Well, yeah, I mean, one, it looks insane when you see me. The only thing that isn't a prosthetic or what you're seeing live is the eye.
Mm,
So there's nothing else. Like I did War for the Planet of the Apes, and we were in the mocap suit, and so what you saw of the ape was all CGI.
mhm.
That was easy. I put on a leotard, put some stuff on dots on my face, and I go to set. This was so different. But it's the practical aspect of it and feeling it in that, that to me is exciting because I know what the end result was gonna be, but they also go, "Okay, so this is the final look. This is what it looks like with the eye. This is what the costume looks like." So everything leading up, I had to get the plaster done for the mask to happen, but when that process started, they were like, "This is what it's gonna look like," and then I'm like, "Okay, this is gonna be epic." So going through all of that, and I mean, I was doing, one of the first days we were in a place called Osoyoos, which is northern BC, which is basically a desert. So in the summer, it's 90 degrees. I'm in this. It was 65 pounds on me.
Jesus.
So I had to lug around 65
Oh
pounds
my god.
and and I was running up and down a hill. And not only that, like, my feet are, like, size 34, like, they're like this, my hands are like this, all the prosthetics just look amazing.
And you're running.
Yeah, but now I have to navigate, and I have to lift my foot higher than I usually do because my toes have to get across. So, it was literally really working out how he walks and how he runs,
How
and
physical is that?
it was insanely physical because they even said a few times, it was like, "Caleb, you're running too easy. You gotta have because you're 900 pounds.
Mhm.
So I have to run like I'm 900 pounds." And so running up in the hill a little bit slower and laboring and back and forth, which I'm not used to doing, it was definitely a workout. But man, there was like, because the sweat getting in there and the cowlick opens up a little bit, like I can feel a jug of sweat. It just poured out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fit in the cast chair
Mhm.
because I was so massive. So they gave me a wheelbarrow.
You were sitting in a wheelbarrow.
That was my chair, man. I was sitting in a wheelbarrow. And so having everybody walk by me going, "This is hilarious." And I'm literally like this with the wheelbarrow and an umbrella because of the sun.
Right?
It looked ridiculous, but everyone was rallying. And then it got to the point where the wheelbarrow was too low and they brought a gator. You know those gators?
No, it's a gator.
A gator is like almost like a four-wheeler.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they brought a four-wheeler with a little back. They set it up, so all I had to do was the little hop on the back of the gator and just lean back, and I had the umbrella and my feet up like this, and it was the most hilarious thing, but they really rallied to make sure I was comfortable,
Yeah.
because anything else was not working.
That's crazy. 65-pound suit
Yeah,
in the sun,
yeah,
in the heat,
yeah,
running.
yeah.
Like, are you claustrophobic at that stage? Because breathing must have been an issue.
Oh, yeah, everything was an issue, but again, I just go back to
Fighting, it's gotta be easier than getting hit.
yeah, it's easier than getting hit.
Everything's
It's easier than getting
yeah,
hit.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's the final product. I just know what it's gonna be, and I also like the idea of rallying
Mm.
when everyone else is going, "Oh my god, I don't know how he's doing it." If I know I'm being taken care of and the cast and the crew and the producers are making sure I'm good, I'll go through fire. Like, I'm totally fine with it. It's when, in
Be
some
careful, that's your next movie.
right, right. Yeah, yeah.
They dropped it here.
But like, in some cases, when you don't feel like they're taking care of you, it's like, "What am I doing? And this doesn't feel like collaborative." But they were Disney and the whole team, they were taking care of me so much because they knew how important this role was.
Mhm.
And they just really cared about the actor. So it made it so much easier. And to me, it was a killer workout, man. I got to work out physically, and then I got to act and emote in this wonderful costume that, you're gonna I think the people I think the fans are really gonna enjoy the the movement through the episodes to finally see Polyphemus, like the crescendo of when he finally shows up, and the buildup is gonna be worth it.
That's amazing. Wow, what a journey, huh?
So great.
Yeah.
So great.
I mean, do you feel like you've kind of I mean, is there a pinnacle of acting, like, when you get a chance to, like, work in a multi-episode series for Disney? Like, coming from plays, coming from indie movies where you're also producing, now you get a chance to, like, work for, the big fish, Disney, and you get to kinda be taken care of in this kinda multi-episodic universe where you've gotta really prepare for it, but you get to do your thing. I mean, that's and you don't have to worry about anything because it's Disney's taking care of it. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, like, because I know how stressful it is doing independent work because there's never enough money, there's never enough daylight, there's never enough
Right.
people,
Right.
and it's like and then, you've worked through all those steps to get to here. I mean, like, do you feel like you've kind of settled into some place that you really like? Or are you ready to do that next indie movie because you need that rush and that adrenaline hit of, like, never having enough of anything?
Definitely. Honestly, knowing that, like, you wanna get to the point of a Disney thing, like, and I did Hawkeye. Hawkeye was Disney and
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Marvel.
And,
Mhm.
you love the fact that you're a part of something big,
Mhm.
but there's nothing like an indie where I can, help with crafty, lug gear, talk about the shots where you don't get the opportunity on a big show because those are jobs that are taken care of, and the last thing they wanna hear is from the dude that's saying "bro" in Hawkeye.
We got
It's
this. We got
yeah,
this.
"Well, I think you should put the camera over here, dude."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but for me, it was, indies just allow you to play and allow you to learn so much more, and also the new generation coming up that are learning on indies.
Mhm.
I love the idea of that I can help out that way. So, and you never know what the next thing is. Like, man, I just got my dream gig. Like, I can literally sit there. Like, Polyphemus is one of the coolest things ever. But again, I come from a boxing background, and I just finished season one of The Greatest with Muhammad Ali.
Mhm.
Muhammad Ali has been my guy. Like I said, I've had that VHS tape.
That's all you took with you.
That's all I took with me. And all of a sudden, I'm like in his life story.
Mhm.
For Prime, Michael B. Jordan is a producer. So I'm sitting there going, I can be done now. Like, I just came full circle and now part of this iconic storytelling.
Mhm.
So for me, I think it's always like I'm excited for the next thing.
When are they gonna let you play a bass player, a famous bass player?
No, right.
Then you can really go full
Oh
circle,
my
right?
God, that would be great. There has been a few projects that some friends have written.
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh my god, that would be so much fun just being on stage playing bass," and then I remember Hardcore Logo.
I don't remember that.
Oh my god. I mean, there's Toronto guys. Remember Hugh Dillon from the Headstones?
No, I don't know this.
Oh my god,
Educate me. I'm way out of
I'd
it.
smash you right now. Hugh Dillon
Please don't, but yeah, tell me the story.
Hugh Dillon, fantastic singer from a band called the Headstones. And there was a movie called Hardcore Logo. It was back in when you were in Toronto, so I'm really mad at you.
Mm.
And, um,
I left in 2001 when you were thinking about coming to LA. That's when I left.
okay, well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hardcore Logo was before that.
Yeah.
So no excuse. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze.
Do we have tissue in here?
Oh, I fought it off.
If you sneeze, I can find you something. We should have
I
tissue.
should find of it.
We usually have tissue in the back. Sometimes it gets, sometimes there's.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Okay.
But it's just a great punk rock movie about the life on the road.
Mhm.
And I always had that feeling of like, I want to do something like Hardcore Logo. That's just like, it's a great story. It's emotional. It's raw. But yeah, I think that would be like, I talked about a friend of mine. I had a question from someone that said, what would be the dream type of character
Mhm.
you would play? And I've done quite a few characters, but there's something about like the first season of True Detective,
Oh, yeah.
broken dude that's just trying to do good.
McConaughey and Harrelson.
Yeah, like and the dialogue in that, there's something about that I would love to do. And also now that you brought it up, it was, yeah, a bass player in a cool like rock movie
Mhm.
where not so much Spinal Tap, but more where are they now, and emotional and storytelling and love story and all of that, but being able to play on stage once in a while.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I grew up with the Tragically Hip, right? That was my band back
Oh,
in the day. Yeah.
for sure, the Hitman, the best.
Yeah, Amazon just came out with a beautiful documentary about them. I don't know if you caught that, but it was spectacular. It's just like I went through my entire childhood in that 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the same one that I saw
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
But did it just must have just come out here, or you saw it a while ago?
No, I think I saw it maybe earlier this year, like
Yeah,
maybe January or February.
yeah,
It was
stunning,
beautiful,
right?
yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah,
The whole story, and what a tragic end, but also, what a library
yeah,
left with us, man.
they did. Um, so here's one for you. Your mother is from Croatia, your father is from Serbia.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about trying to do something in Europe, like something Eastern European, like to kind of connect with your roots?
I've been close to a few movies shooting in my homeland.
Mhm.
Never came to be.
'Cause there's so much stuff being shot in Europe these days. Like, every other person I come and talk to here is filming in Austria or Budapest or whatever, whatever.
Serbia, like, their tax credits are like, I've had so many friends that are there, and I'm like, "Oh, man, nothing for a big guy." But yeah, I definitely wanna go back, It's one of those things that, especially in Croatia, like, my family in Croatia, and in Serbia, just to be around there, and, you know, when this was all a dream back in the day, and they're like, "You sure he doesn't wanna go to law school or anything?" Oh, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going for it." And then now I'm at this position in my life, that I can go back there with, a lot of pride. Like, doing the greatest, I had a great moment. And so I was just talking about this today with one of my good friends, Constantine, where I say, my brother was there from day one. Like, when I was struggling, he lent me 5K, and I remember being like, "I will pay this back. I will pay this
Good
back."
brother.
And he's a doctor, so he's been fine. But for him, without any judgment or anything, and he just kinda lent it, and then I had the opportunity when I was working on The Greatest that, he had some time off, and invited him to Toronto to stay with me for the week while I was working on The Greatest,
Amazing.
and it was like a little bit of a payback for me, that it's like, you were you were there right at the beginning,
Mhm,
and not a lot of people thought that I could do it, and you may not have either, but you were supported me,
mhm.
and to kinda give back a little bit is that's the shit.
It's nice when you need help once and someone's there for you and it helps you on your way.
Mhm.
And then you can kind of pay that forward at some
Yeah.
stage,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
god, and I'm a huge fan of paying it forward, but there's nothing like family that doesn't, and my mom's the same way. There's nothing like family that just kinda like, "Here, I'm helping you, I'm gonna support you, I'm not gonna judge you. I see the dream. If it was me, I wouldn't do it, but I see your dream." And, like,
And you're gonna get judged every fucking day, every
yeah.
fucking minute for the rest of your life. So let me just not judge you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. You're right.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, I'm really lucky with my family.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, this series coming out is quite exciting and it's wonderful that you've you've had such a wonderful kind of experience building up into this, and now you get to come to LA and watch the premiere and talk about it with so many people. It's beautiful.
It's great. Again, and one of the coolest things is seeing the younger generation. Like, these kids on Percy are phenomenal actors, but even more phenomenal humans. Seeing how kind they are to everybody. Um, when you're that young, that stuff can get to your head, and these kids are they're just something, man. And not only, again, they are phenomenal actors, but the kids that they turned out to be, and watching that, especially at the premiere and being the long tooth kind of old dog in the game,
Yeah.
and looking at these kids really soaking it in, it feels good.
What's it like kind of being the elder statesman on set and having the chance to like mentor or shape or talk to these kids in some way and give them some life advice and things like that? Because like you've had such an eclectic experience as an artist from being a musician, in your athletic pursuits as well. I mean, just spending 10 minutes talking to you could change an entire young actor's life because of all the stuff you've been through.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There was something about these guys that it was just it was peers. I just was in awe of how kind of kids they were, and their parents were always on set, and you could see where it comes from. I don't think there was no moments where I was like, okay, kid, let's have a talk, because they were just on point the whole time.
I'd behave really well around you too, by the way, if I was a younger.
But it was just really it was fun to watch. I mean, if they came to me asking about anything, of course, I'm gonna share whatever I can, but it w it got to the point where I was just hanging out with them. Like, we were just they didn't treat me any different than they treated themselves, and I just felt like a part of the group, and that was cool. That was really interesting. You can talk to these guys like just a bro, and it was so surprising, but you also know the age and that they are younger, but
Teenagers, right? The young kids
yeah,
in that league.
yeah, young mid-teenagers, and, um, it was just so awesome to be watching a new generation handle the industry the way they are. And again, it's a testament to the parents, and it is definitely a testament to Dan and Steinberg, all those guys running the show and how they treat everyone. I've never been a part of a set like that, like, especially with kids, like, they have something extremely special. I'm just stoked that I got to be a part of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you've navigated the industry over your time here? I mean, like, have you felt comfortable kind of understanding how people make movies and make television and understanding your role and how to make that process easier? Or has it been a challenge? I mean, ever since that kind of dramatic turning point where you did your play in Vancouver and you've worked nonstop since then, which is amazing. But I'm just curious, like, because you can work nonstop and kind of go from project to project. But I'm just kind of curious, like, are you comfortable in your own skin now in this industry?
It's always gonna be different, man, because you wanna represent a project that you're on the best to your ability, and there's sometimes you're not getting it, and I would love to say that, yeah, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I just have I constantly have moments, of, "Am I the right guy for this?"
Hmm.
Or
Still a little imposter syndrome creeping up.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, and I honestly, I kinda feel like it's a healthy thing to have.
keeps you sharp.
Keeps me sharp and also keeps me humble, and it keeps me on a line of, I just wanna be better. I wanna serve the peace. So if I have some of that, it takes me to it pushes me to see what I can do to be a part of this team. It's almost like we were talking basketball or football, and one guy doesn't we're gonna have to trade this dude, you know?
Yeah.
I don't wanna be the guy that they trade.
Mhm.
But also, if it helps the film in general, trade me, man. Whoever wants to come in to make this better, I get it. I like to be the guy that kind of is the glue to the team, and I think I excel in that a lot more than anything. Like, I don't I like being, you know, like 3 to 7 on the call sheet. I like being a part of an ensemble. I don't know how I would fare being the guy, and I kinda like it. I've been like that with my band. I wasn't the best bass player, but I loved helping write songs and keeping everybody glued in there, and I think,
You just described to everyone why you've been working constantly since that play.
yeah, and maybe that's it.
Be a great teammate.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it in whatever capacity I can play with, as long as everyone there's times where you get to shut down when you feel like you can't get through to the other person. And then what do? Am I gonna force my perspective on them, and then now it's this fight that we're having? Or am I just gonna go, I don't think we can make this happen. Like, you can't listen or I can't, whatever it is, the dynamic isn't working.
Mhm.
And I love to be the guy that tries to make the dynamic work with still keeping some sort of ethics
Mm.
that I'm not going to screw anybody over just to get what I want. I want this to be able to be a thing that we're working together and we can sleep at night.
You're right. I mean, I think everyone goes further together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a heartbeat, in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
And I've seen when I've seen it done right, again, I'll just spit Dan shots in here. With Percy, his energy and the way he talks to people and he treats them, and it's really interesting when he talks to you, you're the only dude in the room.
Mhm.
And then you see him talk to somebody else, that guy's the only dude in the room. And it's fucking awesome to watch because he treats everyone with so much respect. And, the guy that sits back and goes, wait a second, he's talking like that to everybody. They're missing the point.
He's just dialed in.
They dial in and it's always authentic and always kind.
Mhm.
When you're an executive producer on a show like this, things can go sideways. And uh, I think he's the best.
That's awesome. I mean, it's so many. No one gets to hear about the stories about the executive producers doing the hard stuff every day.
Yeah.
Talking with everyone like they're the only people in the room, keeping everyone on the same page, making sure everything gets done on a daily basis. It needs to get done that no one knows needs to get done,
Yeah.
and just keeping the wheels moving.
All that.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think that, going back to boxing, the best referee in a boxing match is one that you don't know is there.
Mhm.
And with Dan, you don't know everything that he's doing behind the scenes, all the fires that he's putting out. You just don't know. What all you know is this executive producer is on set making everyone's life easier.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
Would you ever think about trying to direct yourself?
Oh man, this trip, I've been asked that so many
Really?
times.
Because it's funny because like I talk to so many people in this industry now, and everyone talks about like how rare it is to do a project like you just did, where you just have to act, and
Yeah.
they're gonna put you in a makeup suit and put you in this chair for 5 hours, and they'll
Right.
put you in a wheelbarrow in the heat,
Right.
but you only have to act.
Right.
But it's like I've talked to a few other people, and like, oh, I had to write, I wrote the script, and then I ended up having to produce it to raise money to do this and this. Like, I'm just curious, where you are with the multitasking.
I've been, like I said, I've been asked that at least like almost over 10 times from 10 different people. And
11.
yeah, 11. And I have a passion for it for sure. But again, I have that mentality of like, I don't want to be the guy. I like the idea of being within the team, but there's something about um my
Making 100 decisions a day.
yeah, but it's also what I've also seen on the best sets is, you have to have someone that you trust as your first AD that really gets it and gets you
Mhm.
and knows everything about everything. So when you have that discussion of like, well, I want to shoot it like this, well, you can't shoot it. You need a lens this. We don't have that lens, and this is why we got to go this way. And then for me to go, got it. Let's figure out a different way to shoot. I've been more open to the fact that I want to direct. One of my again, I was talking about him early, Victor Webster, he just directed his first short that I was in. And watching him do it, I was just like, "Oh my god, you can totally do this." Like, he was really great, understood shots, respected everyone. And then, and I had an experience with a director recently that couldn't handle the pressure and wasn't kind. And you have to really kinda understand where, it's no one else's fault around you except the leader.
Mhm.
And when the leader can't handle the pressure, everything goes sideways. And when you're not kind,
Mhm.
no one wants to work with somebody that isn't kind to them.
No.
For instance, I saw this one moment and I'll never forget it. And I was on a show and the director, oh,
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 it's okay, Will. That doesn't come through.
okay.
Uh,
Um, I worked with a director that was not kind, was not nice. Um, and so we're on set, and I remember sitting off to the side watching a scene, and there was a water bottle on the set. And I saw a couple of the grips standing there, and one of the grip goes, "There's a water bottle there." He goes, "Yeah,"
Oh, no.
and that was it.
Yeah. The whole set's done.
But he was like, "Yeah, it's not my job." Then I worked with somebody else, and there was somebody left their lunch on part of the set. But this director was so cool. Everyone's working together great, and all of a sudden, this script goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Lunch is on the set, dude. Thanks a lot, man. You want to do stuff for the people that are kind to you,
Mhm.
and you don't give a I'm just doing my job. I'm not gonna step out of line,
Mhm.
and that's cool to see, and you see that happen a lot,
Yeah.
and so I feel like, yeah, I'm in that mode that I do wanna direct something, and I talked to a producer friend of mine literally yesterday. He was saying the same thing. He goes, "Man, we'll put something together. Let's get a movie going," and I think that imposter syndrome kicks in,
Yeah.
but it's also one of those things like, "Fuck it, let's go."
Yeah, because I mean, isn't that like obviously, I mean, I looked through your IMDb. You've played so many different roles.
Yeah.
You've been so busy and so blessed and so hardworking. And but there's got to be like a dream role in there somewhere. Maybe it's the bassist. Maybe it's something else like that. Maybe you'd think about working with a writer to craft for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always interested in that um, because I always wanted to make adventure TV shows, and I did a few for other people, and I didn't like the way they turned out. And then I was just like, okay, if I want to do this, I need to do it myself. So then I started producing, directing, and presenting in my own shows,
Right.
right? And I kind of did it just all by myself because that was the thing I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to put out into the world,
Right.
and that had the energy that I wanted for it. And and it's interesting because now it feels like you've gotten to this stage in your career where you might be able to play a few cards that you've kept in your back pocket for a few years and get a writer to work with you and get a director or even direct yourself or find the role that you've been thinking about for a decade and a half, as you're working on other people's projects and as you're collaborating with all these wonderful people and as you're putting in all this effort to be the best teammate you can possibly be. But there's got to be something in the back of your mind.
There is,
Yeah.
and again, we were just talking about it today because I've been asked so much this trip, because I've been here a week and, seeing friends and seeing, people that I've worked with and them saying that and me going, like, there's a few projects in there, like, a little bit of the boxing musician kind of project idea, and, I worked with, these 2 great writers, Jeremy and Matt. We did a show called Gen Zeros where I was producing on it, and got it all together, and I worked with them on Van Helsing, and we had such a great working relationship. I got them on the show and watching them work and basically show run it, and I got to learn so much from them. And then the idea of like, yeah, I would love to direct it because when I'm on set and I get the opportunity to help,
Mhm.
there was a show that I did where we were losing time, and so the scene is like a little bit of over the shoulder, which means there's 2 different camera setups.
Mhm.
Where we're losing time, we had to finish the day, and I remember I was like, "What if," as opposed to because it's such a threatening thing that I'm saying to him, as opposed to over the shoulder, what if because of my size and him being in the more submissive position because he owes me money, that I walk up to him, and then now I'm just in his ear. And so right now you can literally as I come up and turn around and now I'm just whispering in his ear. So now you have a one shot, but 2 of us in there,
Mhm.
2 shot in it. So now we can do the whole scene with me just telling everything and right into his ear.
You just save
Those
half
are
your time.
save half the time. And I remember the director going, "Yes, let's do it." Because he was like, "Show me what you mean." I go, "What if we did it like this?" And I did it, and it gets a little creepy and close to the ear, and you know maybe smell his hair a little bit to really freak him out. And he's like, "That's it. That's the one. Let's do it." One setup,
Yeah.
done, out, and I was more proud of that than the performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've got so much experience.
Yeah, and I just love learning, man. Just, like, the last thing I wanted like, I love the idea of suggesting something and somebody goes, "Well, it won't work because of this," and then I can forget about it. I don't
Mhm.
have to fight. I don't as long as you give me a reason why it won't work and it makes sense, I don't have to fight about it. It's like throwing spaghetti in the wall. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At least it's off of me now and we can move forward.
Mhm.
But people that allow for that, I just wanna learn from because they'll go, "Well, it can't work because we gotta use this lens, or we can't use this lens because it takes away from this stuff we've already shot. We've never been on this lens."
Mhm.
Fuck, I would have thought that.
It's got to match up in post.
Yeah, and I never would have thought that. Great, and that's why those guys are there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing, amazing. Well, is there anything we've touched on that everything in this podcast that we haven't touched on that you wanted to bring up?
Well, we know about the greatest, so the greatest I'm really stoked about, and I have a canned water company.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, canned water company called Legend. So that again, it's one of those things that, when I'm not working and I have an opportunity to do something else and saying yes is a big thing.
Mhm.
And this was one of the things where, almost 2 years in, we're in about 900 stores in Canada.
Oh, congratulations.
And it all kind of, it was one, thank you. It was one of those things where, being on set, all I saw was plastic bottles. And I've done this before. I'll drop his name. Momoa it was a buddy of mine. And I didn't know about the dangers of the plastic and stuff until he brought it up because he has a canned water company. So then that's like, it's when you buy a red car, you see a red car everywhere. Now I just saw, the pollution and how bad plastics were. And it's not like I was searching for it, but this opportunity came up. And if I didn't have the knowledge that I got from Jason to then when this opportunity came up to jump at it, I probably wouldn't have been a part of it. So it was something that we developed, and we have a thing on the can, a QR code that says Legends Supporting Legends for, it's a suicide crisis hotline and mental health facilities around the world, or sorry, around Canada. Just to help anybody that's struggling with alcoholism or mental health, that, the can is a little bit of a thing where, you know, we made the can to be able to be drinking, to have in a club. So you feel like you're a part of the party without having the party. So we just wanted it to be a cool can, the brand to look cool. And people have been digging it. So I'm just really excited about that. If you're in Canada, take a look at a bunch of 7-Elevens and grocery stores for Legend Water.
Amazing. Legend water.
Legend Water.
And anything else you got going on?
Yeah, that's about it, man.
So where can we find you on social media?
My Facebook got hacked, so we're not going there.
That happened to me last year. It was terrible. It was a mess. It took me 6 months to get it back.
What does that even mean? Like, why?
Yeah.
But I'm mostly on, I have a Twitter/X at Aleks Paun, but I'm mostly on my Instagram at Aleks Paun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And Percy Jackson, the new series, is on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, Hulu, December 10th.
Yeah.
Get ready for the ride. It's people are gonna really, really enjoy it. It's if you love the first season, this ride is pretty intense.
And Disney doesn't drop them all at once, so you can binge watch them. So do you know which night it comes out every night?
I don't know the night. I just know December 10th, and then whatever the week is after that.
Okay, today's the 4th, so that's next Wednesday.
There you go.
Yeah. Wednesday the 10th, all right.
Wednesday the 10th. And then my Polyphemus is spoken about quite often until the big reveal, and I think that's episode 5 or 6.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Alex, I can't thank you enough for swinging by the podcast. I didn't even realize you were Canadian until I went back into your background, but to have another Canadian sitting at the table with me here has been an absolute pleasure.
It's the only reason why I talk to you.
Right? That's the other reason why I get that.
I don't really like you, but Canadian
sympathies go a long way, right? This guy's an asshole, but he's Canadian, so I'm going to give him a chance. That's
it. Sorry,
eh? Exactly. No, I love it, buddy. And look, keep up the great work. Keep busy. Keep putting good karma out into the world, and it's going to keep coming back in spades, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
No worries. I'll come in a little bit, and we go up here to the big camera so people can see we're in the same room.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, that's all. You don't need to do the presidential thing?
No, just one of these. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Good, man. Because we don't do Zooms. We need to meet people.
That's awesome, man.
All right. Keep up all the great work, man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
And we fade to black, and we're out.